It was on my 13th birthday, 1945.
13th?
My 13th.
11th.
11th birthday, sorry. On the 13th of April, 1945. My mom told me she had a birthday cake for me, and we lived at that time in the basement because of the American planes came everything and threw bombs on it, and so we lived in the basement, and I went upstairs, and when I looked through the window I saw on the other side sneaking people by there with guns in their hands and uniforms I didn't know. So I ran downstairs and told my mom, and we both hid in the coal cellar. Short time afterwards, we heard knocking at our door, and then they broke open the door and went upstairs. They didn't find anything, then they came into the basement. Now I was so afraid when they opened the door to the room where we were in. There was a little black man. He stood in the door and he grinned at us. And then he gave me a chewing gum. That was the first chewing gum in my life. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what to do with it. And he showed me to put it in my mouth, and I was wondering that it didn't dissolve. It lasted and lasted. In the evenings I put it in water, and the next day I threw it again. It was an interesting day that day. It was wonderful weather, I remember that. And the American people I met, they were very kind and very friendly. They told us, the Germans told us before, that the American would be bad and would kill us and rape the women, but they were so nice. They gave us candy and bread, and we didn't have anything to eat, and we got a lot from the American soldiers at that time. It was really nice.
So tell me your full name and your birth date.
My name is Willy Witte. Bin geboren April 13th, 1934 in Iserlohn.
So where did you get your name from?
My how you call that? My
Godfather?
Yeah, my godfather.
Okay, and where did you grow up, in Iserlohn?
Iserlohn, yeah.
What was it like when you were little?
Oh, well, we could play on the streets. There was gravel in the streets, and no cars came there, and we could play outside all the time. It was nice.
And how many boys did you play with when you were little?
None. Only girls lived in my area, and I was every time the boss, and that was wonderful. They did everything I wanted.
When you think about your childhood, what was the earliest thing you can think of? The youngest.
The earliest thing I can think of. I think it was a day when the Americans came. I cannot think behind it. Funny.
Can't think in front of that?
What
about Marlena when you covered her with cinder?
Oh,
That's
I remember that from because they told me, but I cannot remember it myself. My mom told me that my mom was gone, and I took this, how you call it in English, I don't know, when you burn.
Ashes?
But no, not ashes.
Cinder?
Yeah, I took it out of the stove and smeared it all over my sister. And when she looked in the mirror, she started to cry. She was afraid of herself.
What color was her dress?
Pardon me?
What color was her dress?
Red. She had a red dress on, and it was more black than red afterwards.
Tell us about going to church, and what was your religion when you were little?
I was a Catholic, and around the time when the Nazis were there, I didn't go to church. My mom didn't want that. My father was one of the leaders of the Nazi party. He did know Hitler before Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. And my sister has a photo where I sit on Hitler's lap. So he was very familiar to our family, to my father.
And what about church?
I couldn't remember that I went to church.
Just at Christmas time?
Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve we went to church, my sister and I.
Okay.
Yeah, all by ourselves.
How did you and your brother and sister get along? Did you have fun?
My brother and I was pretty good, but my sister and I, we were like cat and dog.
And how are you today?
Nice. We like each other very much.
Did you have a nickname when you grew up?
Yeah.
What was your nickname when you grew up?
Willy Witte.
Willy Witte.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
From my dad.
That's what he called you?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a meaning?
I don't know.
Just Willy Witte.
Yeah. He called me most times Baldy. He didn't like that my name was Willy. Willy was his brother. I got the name from.
What about school? How was school?
School was interesting. First 4 years I went to school, that was during the Nazi time. I had a wonderful time at that. No teacher did say anything to me. I could do what I wanted. They were afraid of my dad and my mom. And after the war it was the opposite. They really got on me. But it was okay. I made my way through school.
What was your favorite subject?
English.
And what was your worst subject?
German.
What about music?
Music I didn't take.
What did the teacher tell you?
The teacher told me I had a voice to eat sausage but not to sing.
So what did she tell you to do when they had music?
Sit back in the bag and do my homework.
Okay. So what did you want to be when you were little? What did you think you grew up to be?
I wanted to be a teacher all the time.
Even when you were little?
Yeah.
Okay.
When we played school, I every time was a teacher.
Okay, describe your first job. What was your first job?
My first job?
Is that with the tailor?
Yeah, that was at the tailor shop.
What did you do there?
They taught me tailoring, made suits and pants, and cleaned the rooms, and wash the windows. All this kind of stuff. I had to clean the whole downstairs, the room. The people tried on their clothes. We called it Anproberum. Then we had the store where he sold shirts and ties and things like that. And then we had the room where we worked in. And I had to, there was a whole downstairs. I had to clean that all. Every Saturday I stayed there sometimes until 6 o'clock cleaning.
So right after the war though, didn't you help them, the people who lived downstairs, didn't you help him with his...
Yeah, I did. Before I did anything else, I became an errand boy, or how do you call
Yes,
it?
that's correct.
They gave me the food to take to the people, and with the time they got trust into me, and they made they gave me things I brought to people, and they gave me different things, and I couldn't tell about that because it was a time where you couldn't buy anything to eat. That was before 45.
Was it heavy lifting?
Sometimes very heavy. Yeah, I lifted potatoes in a sack that was 100 pounds, German pounds. I had to lift that.
How old were you at this time?
11.
So still 11 or 12?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are some of your heroes? Who are some of your heroes when you think about them? You have any?
Yeah. My favorite man I liked, like my father, that was the man who belonged to store to in our house, Hans Lenkühle. He treated me like his son, and he was like my father. He did a lot for me. He loved me really like a son. He didn't have children, and he really liked me.
But he didn't do it for your brother and sister,
No,
did
he didn't like my brother. Oh, he didn't like him. And my sister he didn't care about. But I wanted to have everything. If I wanted to have food, I only need to ask and I got it.
What did you do for fun, besides play with the girls?
I sewed.
You sewed?
Yeah, I made dolls and doll dresses. And
For the girls?
yeah.
For their dolls?
Yeah, and I made those little things you put under a vase, you know, you make little flowers in it, sticking. I don't know what it's in English.
No, either.
Needlepoint.
Oh, the needlepoint.
Needlepoint, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's the happiest moment of your life?
Happiest moment of my life. The happiest moment of my life, I think, was when I became LDS. That was so wonderful, I never forget that.
And what was the most proud moment of your life?
Proud? I don't know. I don't think I had a proud moment in my life.
Westminster?
Oh, Westminster College, yeah, that was nice, but I wasn't proud about it.
That you graduated from
I
there?
graduated from Westminster, yeah.
With honors?
With honors, yeah.
Okay. What's the most important lessons that you've learned in your life?
What was that?
What lessons have you learned from your life that you would pass on to your son, maybe?
Oh. That you should be honest to other people. That lying can bring you in big, big trouble. And that you should do what the Lord wants you to do. When you live that way, nothing bad really can happen to you.
Did you change when you became a parent?
I don't know. I don't know if I did. Yeah, I wasn't there alone anymore. I suddenly had something that belonged to me, you know. I loved my son very much, and I liked to carry him around. It was fun.
If you could do anything right now, what would you do?
If I could do anything right now, I would like sewing. I would like sit on my sewing machine and work on my quilt.
Why?
Why? It makes it fun. I like it. It's relaxing to me to work with fabrics. The feeling you have in your hands, that soft material and the needle when it goes through the fabrics, that feels good.
And when you were growing up, who were some of your favorite relatives? Did you have any?
Yeah, aunt, Tante Emmy. She was little. She was, I don't know how you call that. She was sick when she was a kid, and she had little tiny legs.
She had rickets.
Yeah, she was wonderful. Oh, I loved her so much. I went every Sunday. I went to her and visited her. She was my favorite person in the world, I could say. I loved her more than my mom.
Did she tell you any stories at all that you
Oh
remember?
yeah, she told me about what happened at her home, what my mom did, and everything my mom didn't tell me about herself, she told me about my family.
Now, your mother left you quite a bit alone, you children.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she did. She would go to visit her brothers and sisters, and my sister and my brother and I were alone.
Did you celebrate any holidays other than Christmas as a child?
Birthdays?
Was it a big deal?
And Easter. Birthday was a big deal, yeah.
What did you do for birthdays?
What I did for birthday?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we got a cake, and we would have a birthday party. The whole family would come the next day. All aunts and uncles, they would sit at the table and have a cake and hot chocolate and coffee.
I
That
think
was so, they did that in Germany when there was a birthday. They would come around 5 o'clock for cake and hot chocolate and coffee.
and salads and
Yeah, that was later then. There was only a couple of those people who came to the birthday they stayed. That was a couple of favorite people they stayed for dinner.
and who made the dinner and the birthday cake?
Pardon me?
Who made the dinner and the birthday cake?
My mom.
The person having the birthday, huh?
Uh-huh.
Very strange. How's about Christmas? How do you celebrate Christmas?
We celebrated Christmas Eve.
Start with Niklaus.
Niklaus.
How about Niklaus?
Niklaus was on the 5th of December in the evening. As soon as it got dark, suddenly Wonnacott got the door and sang Niklaus and Knecht Ruprecht and Hans Muff. Hans Muff, that was a black man, and Knecht Ruprecht was the one dressed in the Niklauskleid, and sang Niklaus was dressed like a bishop. And they came and visited you. They had a big book and they wrote everything you did bad. And one time they wanted to cut off my sister's fingers because she caught her nails. And after a lot of begging, they didn't do it.
She was chewing her nails, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah. And then when they left, they gave us some chocolates and nuts.
And what about the next morning?
Yeah, and then the next morning when we stood up, there was every time a big plate on our place with cookies and chocolate and pfeffernüsse and marzipan and all those things, delicious things.
And what about Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve we would go to church. And
where's your Christmas tree? Did you have a Christmas tree?
Oh yeah, we had a Christmas tree every year.
Where is it?
In the living room. We didn't see it before. The Christmas tree was hidden behind the door and we only would see it on Christmas Eve for the first time. So we would go to church. That is, we looked through the keyhole and we could see a couple of branches, that was all. And on Christmas Eve we had to go to church. My sister and I would go to church, and sometimes we would leave when church was half finished and go really slow home. We wanted to be there as soon as possible, and when we came and we had dinner, that was the worst thing in my life. And then
Why?
my aunt, because we wanted to see our presents, they were in the next room. And my aunt and my uncle, Tante Emmy, the little one I told about, and Uncle Otto, her husband, they were there. And then we had dinner, and then after that the bell would ring, and then the door would open, and there would be the Christmas tree with lights, and there was a big table. Everybody had a place with his name on it, and there was some presents and a plate full of sweets.
Did you have to say a poem or something?
Yeah, we had to sing when we went in there. We
Had to sing.
Sing a lied.
What did you sing? Kinderlein or what?
What?
Kinderlein?
Ihr Kinderlein kommt, yeah.
Okay.
That was the easiest one we all could do.
Can you do Kinderlein?
What?
Okay. Dear
Kinderlein
Kinderlein,
kommet, oh kommet doch all, zur Krippe herkommt. That's all I know.
You don't remember the
That
rest
is
of it?
so long ago.
That's a fun thing.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're skipping to how did you meet your wife?
How did I meet my wife? Yeah, I became LDS. One day I had to knock at the door, and there were two young men there. And I didn't want to chase them away, but somehow I couldn't. I let them in, and after half a year I became LDS, and then I went to church, got baptized, and that same day I met my wife. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was on a church meeting.
It wasn't that same day.
It wasn't that same day, I don't
3
know
months
exactly.
later.
It's so long ago I can't remember.
Tell us us about how you got baptized.
How I got baptized? Yeah, that was funny. I couldn't tell my mom, so I lived in Iserlohn, and I drove with the missionaries to Dortmund, where I got baptized. In Dortmund they had a church, and when I came back home I couldn't tell my mom. She would have been angry, and she saw my red hair, and I told her I was swimming.
Oh. Later. Okay. And so then you met your wife. What happened?
We sat together in a room and we talked about for 3 hours, and then we were engaged. How it exactly happened, I don't know. But I remember when I saw her, I know she was my wife. She would be my wife.
To America. You worked for 5 years, and then you had the opportunity to do what?
I got back to school. The most interesting thing, when I came here, I could say only goodbye and hello. That was all English I didn't know, and I had
Plus
a lot
some
of
other words that you didn't say.
some bad words. And I had a hard time in the beginning, but I learned English pretty fast. And then I worked for a while, and then I had the chance to go back to school, and that was wonderful.
Where did you go?
I went to the college, Salt Lake Community College, for 2 years, and then I went 2 years to Westminster College, and I made my bachelor's degree.
How did you go to school when you didn't understand any English? What happened?
In the beginning I had permission from the teacher to tape the lesson, and in the evening I would sit with my wife and we would talk about it. And she would tell me what I didn't understand.
And what was...
Most of my English I learned from my wife. She was a beautiful teacher.
And what was your graduating degree? Early childhood development?
Early childhood development, and afterwards...
What happened, though, when you tried to find a job?
Oh, they didn't want me because I was a man.
So that made you have to go back to school.
Yeah, another 2 years to Westminster College.
And what did you decide to take at that time?
Education. And when I was finished, and I had my bachelor's degree, some before I had my degree, I had a place as a teacher in school in the what
David
school?
Gorley.
David Gorley, yeah, what school district was that? I can't remember.
Granite School.
Granite School District, yeah. They offered me a job because my teachers I had at the college talked with, so they really liked me, and they thought I was wonderful.
Well, tell us about your classroom. Did the children like to be in your classroom?
Oh yeah, the children liked it because I had all kinds of jobs. I had aquarium with fish, I had aquarium with salamander and snakes, all those things. Pardon me?
An iguana?
An iguana, yeah, and snakes.
And who was Herbert?
Herbert was was a frog. He was big like a dinner plate, and he was. I forgot the name. What kind of a frog he was, but he was fantastic. You could pet him. He would jump on my lap. It was a really fun thing to have, that frog.
Big frog.
Yeah, and one time my wife came in the kitchen and he jumped around, and she was a little bit upset.
No, I think that was a snake. Do you want to tell that story?
I don't know that story so well.
You brought your animals home during the summertime, didn't you?
Yeah.
How many snakes did you have?
3, sometimes 4.
And your wife said that was okay if the cages were tight?
closed, yeah.
And she came downstairs in the kitchen one night.
And there was a snake slithering on the ground, and she was screaming,
Yes.
and I had to run and put the snake away. And that was a really harmless snake. How did they call him?
Corn snake.
What?
She was a corn snake.
Corn snake, yeah, that was a corn snake, yeah. She was
When your
beautiful.
wife was screaming, "Come get your snake," do you remember what you said to her?
No.
Which one?
Yeah.
2:00 in the morning. Yeah.
Oh, I loved my snakes. I could put them around my neck, and they were beautiful, all of them.
Tell us about some of the children
What children? At
that
school?
you taught, that you loved so much,
Oh, I
and their
loved
parents.
I loved my kids in class, and the parents liked me too very much. We had four. I was a fourth grade teacher, and we had four fourth grade classes. And all the people wanted their kids in my class, all the parents. So because of my animals I had in there, and because everybody liked me. And there were a lot of fights between the parents and with the other teachers. The other teachers didn't like me very much. The principal really liked me.
Did that bother you?
No, didn't bother me. I didn't have to do anything with them.
Good.
I would go to school, I would do my thing, I would go home, but I didn't care about the other teacher. The principal was important. She liked me, and that was good.
Did you ever dream your whole life when you were in Germany that you would be able to be a teacher
No,
and to
never.
do this?
It was my wish all my life to be a teacher, but I never dreamed that I ever would be in Germany. That would have taken too much money. My mom could never have paid for that.
So you enjoyed your teaching career.
Oh, I really didn't. It was only 10 years. Yeah, 10 years I was finished. It was a wonderful time.
That's neat.
The temple in Switzerland is not big, but it is wonderful. A wonderful feeling when you're in the temple.
Tell about your feelings when you held your boy for the very first time.
I don't know what feelings I had then.
When you were holding your baby boy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember? Were you comfortable?
I looked at him and I was afraid to hold him. I didn't know, I was afraid he would fall. The nurse put him in my hands, and I was standing there and didn't know what to do, and waited for her to take him back because I was afraid I would let him fall. I didn't know how to handle a baby. I never had one in my hands before.
So how long did you stand there?
Oh, about 2 or 3 minutes.
Waiting for her?
Yeah, waiting for her to take the baby back. My arms got really tired.
Was it exciting to have a son?
Oh, it was very exciting. I was very happy.
What some fun things did you do with your son when you were growing up?
Oh, we went to Germany together. I think that was the nicest thing we did together. We went to Germany, went along the Rhine River, and it was wonderful.
Did you go camping with him?
Oh yeah, we went camping. My wife, my son, and I, we went camping a lot of times. It was wonderful.
Okay.
Camping is one of the things I liked very much.
When you look back on your life, okay, is there anything that you can think of you would do differently?
What about that, please? I didn't get that.
Would you do anything differently in your life?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I was happy with all the things I did, and I think I would do the same again.
Okay, is there anything you want your descendants to know about you, or any advice you have for them?
No. The only thing I would like to tell them is to believe in to believe in the Lord and do what He wants us to do. That is the most important thing, I think.